Every time I mention my grandchildren, I usually get the same reaction, especially from people who have known me for years. They look at me, they tilt their head just a little, smile, and they say something like, "Grandchildren? You're too young. There's no way you have grandchildren." And I have to admit, I enjoy that conversation far more than I probably should. I'll gladly accept that compliment for as long as people are willing to offer it. But yes, I really am a grandfather. Hard to believe at age 40. Okay, maybe I'm a little older than 40, but I really am a grandfather, and I have discovered something that no one ever prepared me for. Grandchildren don't simply make life busier, and they surely do that at times. But grandchildren, they make life brighter. Before becoming a grandfather, people would often smile knowingly and tell me, "Just wait." And that was always followed by that unmistakable grin that grandparents seem to share. I thought I understood what they meant, but I was wrong. Not because the love was greater than I expected, although it certainly is, but because grandchildren quietly give us and give me something I didn't even realize I'd misplaced. And that something is wonder. Not the kind that comes from going somewhere amazing or buying something new. It's a quieter kind of wonder. It's a kind of wonder that, notices. If you spend 10 minutes with a young child, you'll discover something remarkable. Everything deserves investigation. A stick, a ladybug, a puddle of water, a newly dug hole of dirt by the dogs, a cloud that somehow looks exactly like a dinosaur. And children don't rush past these things. They stop. They kneel down. They point. And then they invite us to come and look too. And somewhere between kneeling beside them and listening to their seemingly endless questions, we begin seeing the world differently ourselves. One afternoon, pretty recently, I was out on a golf cart ride with one of my grandkids. We got this golf cart just so that we could take the grandkids on rides around the neighborhood, and it's awesome. So I got this little 3-year-old in the golf cart with me, and we started on our drive. And before we had gone 20 feet, he goes, "Look, Grandpa, flag." I looked around and I said, "Well, yeah, there is a flag there." And then he looked again, "Flag, flag, flag." He's pointing everywhere because it was right around the 4th of July. And he was just so amazed at how many flags there were. And so we spent the next 20 minutes on our golf cart ride pointing out and calling out every single flag we saw. An American flag, an Argentinian flag because we're in the middle of the World Cup, a French flag. It didn't matter. Whatever flag we saw, whatever colors were being flown, he was excited just because there was a flag. Big flags, small flags, medium-sized flags. They were everywhere. And that was a wondrous time for him. So, I hadn't thought much about how many flags there might be. But it was the most amazing thing ever to him. So as we drove and kept calling out the flags we saw, we lost count of how many there were, and it didn't matter if we'd seen those flags before on our way back. we still called him out. And for those minutes, nothing else seemed to matter. Anything that had been scheduled in my mind went out of my mind. Any errands that may have been needing to be done, well, they waited. And guess what? The world kept spinning. I know, it's crazy, but it did. And so isn't that interesting? Children have an extraordinary ability to remind us what is actually worth remembering. And one of the unexpected gifts that I've received from becoming a grandparent is I don't ever feel like I have to try to keep proving myself. All I have to try to do, and sometimes it's difficult, I just simply have to try to keep being present. I don't have to impress a grandchild. I simply have to join them. And they love it when you sit on the floor with them. They love it when you read that story again. And when you build one more tower with them. Or pretend that the living room is now a pirate ship, or a floor covered with lava. They love it when you watch the same magic trick 3 times in a row with exactly the same enthusiasm. Somehow, those things never feel like interruptions if you don't let them feel like interruptions. Instead, they feel like invitations. You know, I've noticed something else. Grandchildren laugh easily. Really easily. Sometimes for reasons adults would struggle to explain. One giggle becomes another, and then another, and before long everyone is laughing, and even if nobody remembers how it started, they keep on laughing. I wish we outgrew fewer things. I wish wonder didn't seem to have an expiration date. It shouldn't. And neither should delight, or curiosity, or stopping to watch butterflies, or bugs, or birds, or dogs, or clouds in the sky. So perhaps growing older isn't supposed to mean becoming more serious. Perhaps it's supposed to mean becoming more grateful. Grateful enough to recognize that life is still handing us beautiful surprises. And you know, grandchildren seem to know that instinctively. They are convinced something wonderful is about to happen. Something wonderful is just around the corner. And most days, they're right. The remarkable thing is you don't actually need grandchildren to experience this. We simply need to borrow their way of looking at the world. We need to notice more, to smile more. Ask another question. Pick up that interesting rock. Watch the bird instead of walking past it. Or stay outside another 10 minutes because, well, that evening is simply too beautiful to waste. You know, life hasn't become less wonderful. We've simply become wonderfully efficient at overlooking wonder. But grandchildren, and if you don't have grandchildren yet, your own children, can help us gently reverse that process. They remind us that there are still adventures hiding inside ordinary afternoons. And that is a lesson worth carrying long after everyone has gone home. So the next time a child excitedly says, "Come look!" I hope you'll go. And I hope I'll remember to go too. Not because what they're pointing at will necessarily change your life, but because the way they're seeing it just might. So, thanks for spending these few minutes with me today. This has been The Quiet Between, and I'm Mark Ammons. Until next time, may you never lose your curiosity. May you never outgrow delight. May you never outgrow the thrill of seeing the simple wonders around you. And may your heart always make room for one more beautiful surprise.